And now I'm expecting a baby on our anniversary. But I want to share with you, as we go into today's word, a personal testimony I experienced. You know, when I found out I was pregnant, about a couple days after, we discovered that there could be some complications in the pregnancy. And the first doctor we meet, and you know, we do some checkups and all of that. And the doctor recommends literally termination. But here's the interesting thing, because as we minister, one of the things in my walk with God has always been connected to the supernatural. So you're gonna get a little bit of it when I preach. But the interesting thing is, 2 days prior to finding out I was pregnant, I had an encounter with an angel. And in his presence, that's when I realized I'm pregnant. And I was in my closet. I don't know why he chose my closet, but that's where he chose to show up. I said, well, God, while you're at it, could you revamp my closet, right? So I run downstairs and I tell my husband, and I'm like, I think I'm pregnant. And I tell him what just happened. So we get a pregnancy test 2 days later, and it's positive. But then afterwards, a challenge shows up. And I said, God would not go through all this trouble to get me a word if this is the narrative I have to listen to. I said, nah, we're gonna keep this baby and get a different doctor. And so we did. But there was a moment where I was going through excruciating amount of pain. Excruciating. You know, my new doctor says, look, you're gonna be fine. This just needs to pass. It's gonna probably take, I think it was about 5 weeks she said it would take. And when it started, I was on vacation. And I was supposed to preach in LA that Sunday. So we're supposed to come back from Maui to LA to preach, and I am in excruciating pain. I couldn't sleep, couldn't do anything. I'm literally crying all the time. And I was like, Lord, literally, I wanted to call it off. I wanted to call my pastor and say, I don't think I got it in me. But I said, let me first ask the Lord. And so I was praying and I said, God, I don't think I have this in me, but I need your permission to step back. And then the Lord encounters me in a dream. And there are many things he shows me. But one of the key things, he said, I am with you. I am the God that walks with you in the mountain, and I'm the God that walks with you in the valley. Even when you're going through what seems like a hard time, I am with you. And he tells me, you're gonna preach on Sunday. And so literally, my husband is trying his best to just see how we can relieve this pain. But in pain, I was studying. In pain, I was praying. But then here's the interesting thing that happened. Sunday morning shows up. And I'm like, God, you're gonna show up. I wake up that morning. I realized the pain subsided. This is only a few days. The doctor told me a couple weeks. I get up, I get ready, because now that Saturday night, all of a sudden I could sleep. And Sunday morning, I'm good to go. The moment I get into the house of the Lord, all the pain went away. And here is what I realized in God, that the healing I was looking for was in my obedience to the call. You see, you have to realize that obedience is a pathway for supernatural realities. That your obedience to God is literally a pathway for supernatural possibilities. It wasn't that God healed me as a favor, but the healing was trapped in my obedience.